So you've been to factories all across the world. You visit Europe very often. You go to the US, also New Zealand. You've been to China recently a couple of times. So what do you think separates a genuinely good quality wooden flooring or facade from a bad one?
So when I'm looking at the factories, I'm just looking at the quality control.
Okay.
Right. So the process is fairly straightforward, but in some cases, for example, when we talk about exterior wood, right? So we work with the Bodo, New Zealand, and we've been working with them for almost 11 years now. And I personally have experience with using wood outside since 2010. So that's 15 years of on the ground. I've seen what happens right there. So what I see invariably is the involvement of the owners in the business.
Okay.
Right. So they're really very interested in their business.
Okay.
It's not a kind of a professional kind of a setup where you have people coming in and going so I don't mean to say the professionals are not so great, but the owner's stake, like he's going to be there forever kind of a thing, So people are not just thinking that they're going to build a company and they're going to sell it in 5 years and, and cash and go out. I mean, that is a way to do it. But some people do. What we prefer to work with is like generational businesses.
Okay.
We want to have the know-how.
Right.
So been there, done that. So, people who've really experienced how wood works, what is the problem they're trying to solve, how does it solve it, and whatever their ideas about, how it would solve it, they've tested that thing out in the real world over a long period of time. So, I want to work with people who say, okay, 50 years I've been doing this continuously and I have repeat clientage and they've been, trusting us with business. This is something which is very easily verifiable.
Right.
So I'm working with these factories. One, I need to know how much is the owner involved. And when I talk to him, I'm trying to judge, the fundamental understanding of the product, of the material. Because ultimately they're dealing with wood. So the behavior of the wood and, how they've solved the challenges. So what I find is these people are generally very good, right? And they've figured out a way to do it better than most others.
So do you think as vendors of these, do vendors themselves hold some sort of responsibility? Like you talk about intention, right? Intention to find out the truth and the facts of the material, right? As a vendor, do you hold that responsibility that I want to test this material, I want to also see for myself what it does? And as a brand, Span Floors, is that something that is represented through your actions?
Right. So how we do it, right? So sometimes these setups are like quite elaborate. And what I'm particularly looking for, interesting, is their QC labs.
Okay.
Like how are they saying what they are saying? How is it backed up by actual research at their factories?
Okay.
Right. And when you go, you can check that.
Right.
It's not some empty space where you have some machines lying and so you can find out the activity over there.
Right.
So generally I like to engage with those people and I understand from them, how are you solving this? How will you solve this? And all that. So those places, the QCs are like, that area is busy.
Right.
You see people and when you interact with them, you instantly kind of know, within a few minutes of conversation, that they mean business and they know what they're talking about.
Right.
So our intention there is to find a factory which has the complete setup, right? And then when we check with guys they've been working with for a very long period of time.
Okay.
So I just don't want to be relying on my single impression of that particular visit, right? I would want to check, whom have you been working with in the last 10 years, 15 years?
Right.
So I want to, speak to those guys and understand.
Okay.
So that's how we do our due diligence in terms of, when we are promoting a brand in India, for example, and we bring something, that is our responsibility. Okay, so we do our full due diligence over there. Of course, I'll be like wrong when I tell you that every consignment we can check. We cannot. That's the honest truth about this whole thing.
Right.
But what we want to know is, do they have a process? And that process, have they been, doing that process over a period of time? And when we check with old guys who've been working with them, we can always tell. They can always tell you. For example, the brands that I have experience with, if you ask me about a Bodo, if you talk about Coswig and all that, I know those guys are doing work and I have first-hand experience of using their product, installing their product, interacting with them, and all that. So this way I would like to speak with others who have used their products.